Hi, thanks for joining me today. We're going to start on card 11 and go through 15 for this video, and then I can show you the whole set of 15 cards. So this is the sample card that I made. Let's see if I can get the light to shine on it better. And I got my order of Mossy Meadow, so I'm good to go now. Okay, we're starting with card 11. I'm going to just add the background piece on the layer. I'll just glue that down with double-sided tape. Oops. Let's roll that off. Okay, so we'll get that down. If I can center it. Maybe on this side, it's bumping up this way. Okay, I think we got it. That's good enough. Okay, so I'm going to use Very Vanilla this time. I think that the stamping on it will look better. I don't know, but we'll see. So we've got 2 of these from card A, or from paper A. And then I have absolutely no idea where the rest of these come from, and that must be for the inside. So I'm just gonna set them up how I feel they look best. And then the one that matches the paper, I'm gonna go in the middle. Now my goal is to have it straight across on the bottom here. So I'm going to make sure that the bottom lines up when I'm gluing them. And the same as last time, I'm gonna have extra over here. So I will be trimming this and then trimming my piece that goes on it. So let's get to gluing. Try and keep these in the right order. There we go. Oh, look at that, I put the top on. Okay. Apparently that's worse than just leaving it open on the little silicone thing. But I've got a pin. Okay, here we go. I like the liquid glue for this so that I have room to adjust, because these need to be straight. I don't want any of the extra parts showing. Okay, there's one. And go to our next one. This might be tedious to watch as I place all of these, but I'm trying to just give you an idea of how I put them together. If you hear thumping, that would be my son in the kitchen. Somehow eating requires thumping. Okay, and one more. There we go. So I've got a fairly straight line along the bottom. I actually did a pretty good job on these. And now I will add the bottom layer. And when I've finished adding all of these, I am going to trim it. So I didn't quite get that one up to match the rest of them, but it is what it is. So now, okay, first I think I'm going to trim this so that I've got a nice straight edge. That looks pretty good. And then I'm going to trim that. Oh, that's pretty good. And then a little bit off the bottom here. Nope, gotta line it up with that one. There we go. Guillotine is a little easier than trying to shave off little pieces with a trimmer. That can be challenging. Oh, which reminds me, I need to take probably a 1/16 of an inch off here. So let's see, we'll do a 1/16 and see how that looks. That's pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to stamp, and oh, maybe I want to use Secret C. My Mossy Meadow stamp pad does not always, it has issues sometimes on getting the good color. So I am actually going to use Secret C because it's a nice juicy one, because I'm going right for it. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Now we can put this on our backing. Wow, see if I can get that lined up. There we go. And I'm gonna put this on my card base, and then I'm gonna pop that up with dimensionals. Go, line this up. I do like the muted tones of this paper. I think it's really pretty. Okay. Now we'll get the dimensionals out. There we go. And now we just have to put that on the front of our card. That looks good. Got something on it. Oh well. And finish it off with a few antique pearls. We'll go the big one up here. I probably should put it there. There's card 11. On to card 12. Here's the sample that I made. And again, I get to use Mossy Meadow. So let's dump those out. And I've got my dot adhesive so I can temporarily put them in place. I just gotta get them all turned over correctly. I'm gonna put them on Crumb Cake. I just have to figure out how I want them lined up. So there should be 3 of each, although these are gonna look the same. 1, 2. Apparently this one goes with it. Okay, I'm gonna go like that. There we go. Now's when I've thought of getting those little edges that you can get for placement. I haven't bought any. I don't know if anyone else has, if you share your experience. I thought something like that might be helpful for placing these. Okay, I'm gonna move that one up a little. Now that I've got them all placed temporarily, I'm going to use liquid glue to add them where I really want them. And hopefully they're equidistant. Twist to pull off. There we go. Now I've got, okay, I've already got that on there. I've got my card base. Oopsie. Let's just attach this to my card base, and I'm going to use dimensionals for that. And then I'll finish off with the sentiment. There we go. add that to my card base. And I'm gonna stick it there because, okay, I'm gonna try Mossy Meadow. I have extra paper. We'll see how it goes. I think I need to replace it again. Okay, there we go. That's not bad. Now I'm going to die cut. Move these out of the way. And I put in a new magic mat, although it seems thinner than my old one somehow. We'll see if it works. Of course, I'll, try that on camera for the first time. If it doesn't, I have other plates I can pull out. Oops. I think it's about time to replace my tape too. There we go. Let's see how it goes. Yep, worked just fine. It's the magic mat. I was measuring it. I bought this for measuring things, and it is the tiniest hair smaller or thinner than my plates. So if it doesn't work for you, that could be why. As I noticed when I was putting it away, it slid right through and didn't make the rollers go. Eventually, it'll get all bumpy again. Now, I'm going to just use double-sided tape for this. Put that on there. Then can bring these back out. And I'm going to use dimensionals, and I left a little room in the middle so that I shouldn't be too tall on it. There we go. And this is fairly easy to center because we've got the grid. Put it in there. Got my antique pearls. Put a few of those around. And there is card 12. Okay, card 13. Here's my sample. And I got out some punches for this one. So we've got our two pieces here. And I'm gonna start by punching this just so I have all my pieces. Because these are 1 3/4. This one's supposed to be 2 inches, but it's so close to 2 inches. I don't know if I can actually, I could probably do a 1 7/8, but to get them all out, I'm just doing a 1 3/4. So I'm lining it up so I don't see any edges. Want to get it as close together as possible. There we go. Well, I suppose I could have used that side. Well, once we have some things put together, maybe we'll choose. Maybe I'll change my color scheme. Because right now I'm going again with Mossy Meadow and Crumb Cake. But if I went with this side, because once I punched it out, I kind of liked it better. Because then maybe I'll do pecan pie. Oh, this is going to take longer. I might have to fast forward so I can pick colors. I just got some new embossing folders, so I'm trying to pick. Now, this one would be more subtle and probably go with the tree. Let's give that a try. start there. Am I on camera? Move things over. Okay. Let's see how that turns out. Oh, that's a nice texture. Okay, 1 3/4 by 5. So I'm gonna do the 1 3/4 first. Oh, actually, I think I like that offset, so I'm gonna do it this way. And then I want these to line up. So I'm gonna try and do a pencil mark and hopefully get it close. Okay, so it's 5 there. That's pretty good. Okay, so we've got this. We've got that. I was gonna do a torn piece of cardstock, of the 2-tone cardstock down the center here, but I don't know if I'm going to now. I think I might just go with that. And then maybe an early espresso card base. That goes pretty good. Well, we've changed it all up. Not what I had intended when I started. I was going to use this side. But I do like how that looks there. Oops. Maybe I should use liquid glue. Not quite getting them centered. I'm a little flustered about changing my mind in the middle. And then one more. There we go. That one's better. Okay. Now I'm gonna put this piece on first, and yes, I'm still gonna use liquid glue. Now, set that in this corner. That's better. Okay, then dry fit. Let's make sure it's gonna work. Looks pretty good. I am going to use thicker glue on this side, or thicker run of it, just because it is so bumpy. Put that down. Make sure it's lined up. There we go. And I'm going to put this on the card base. Okay. Now, since these didn't center very well, I'm going to cover them up with this one. We will do that. So here's our sketch. Here's our template. And here's all the extra pieces that I chose not to use. Okay, we'll get it about there. And then add the other one. Oh, pretty good. And then let's get those to stick down. I'm going to use Dimensionals. Almost done with this sheet. Okay. And that pretty much covers up my seam, which on this one You can see I took some two-tone cardstock and then I tore, well, okay, you can barely see, but I tore along the edge because I mean, it's not centered, but I don't always like a line in the center. It's a me thing. Okay, now, oh, here we go. Now I am going to use, I think, Early Espresso ink on my Very Vanilla with my happiest birthday wishes. See if I can center that. That's good. Okay. And then I'm going to put flags on the sides because that's how it was written. And sometimes I do follow what Kendra puts on there. Up the center, corner to the line, corner to the line. If it's bigger than this, I often use my paper trimmer to make sure I get it centered. Then, yep, you're gonna need, did I do it on this one? No, I don't. Oh, I see what I did. You probably, there we go. I did 3 mini dimensionals so that I didn't have to worry about the extra cardstock that I would need, and I just didn't do it on that one part. So I'm going to do it there. So I'm holding it in place so I know where to put my dimensionals. And then I'm just not attaching anything on that side. Dimensional up to it. There we go. And then, oh, I didn't even do gems on this one, but I'm gonna do gems on this one because I want to use these up, or at least use them. There we go. And then we'll do another one right there. So there is card 13. Card 14, and this one, I think I'm changing it up a bit. And the first time I did it, I didn't make it crooked, and I added a few layers. I was playing with some of my iridescent foil that I've had forever. But this card, I'm twisting it and adding a different layer for the sentiment, and more layers. So I'm putting my patterned paper on a piece of pecan pie that's 1/8 inch bigger. So that would be, what, 6, 7/8, 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Whoops. So we will try and stick that on. I'm going with the same color scheme I had in my last video where I completely changed my colors. And I'm like, whoa, I kind of like that with this one. And since this panel is more of a horizontal, I thought that would work better with the card. So I'm just gonna stick that on. I'm just gonna use this one again. Try and get it on straight. So again, I really like multiple mats that are different sizes, so you can see how it's just a tiny bit. And then for this one, I had a hard time picking what to put next to it, but I think I like the basic beige next to it, but it's just too plain. So I'm going to emboss it. And I'm gonna use whatever this one's called again. I'll have it in the comments. I do not remember because I just opened it, and I normally like to put, labels on it so I know, first of all, what the name is, and if I have to use a specialty plate or a clear plate or what. So here we go. We'll see how that turns out. I do like being able to choose all of that area for where I want, or for what I want to emboss. That gives it some more interest. So then these are gonna go on my early espresso layer, which is exactly how it's written there. Often I will cut the whole thing and put the pattern paper on because I have to make sure I get them the same size, and it bothers me if it doesn't, if I don't, but it seems pretty good. This is a very bumpy one. Okay, line that up. There we go, that's pretty good. I am going to put the block on it. And now, because I changed that, I'm changing my sentiment. And here we go. So I'm going to use early espresso again. And then I'm going to layer this on pecan pie. And no, I have no idea if it's pecan or pecan. I go back and forth. I never know what I'm going to say. Anyway, this is a 1/2 inch by 2 1/4. And this is 5/8 inch by 2 3/8 inch. Because I just wanted a little bit of a border, not a lot. So we'll get that. And I'm gonna pop this up on Dimensionals. Okay. So I'm going to center it because I can't handle when things are at jaunty angles very easily. And then I might do it off the edge. I like off the edge, and I don't want to cover the pretty flowers. So I think I'm going to do that. So it's that sketch. It's just done differently. And then I will add some antique pearls because I do love to have bling on my cards. So I'm gonna do big one, a small one, and I'm gonna do, I don't know, where do I put the medium? I'm gonna put it there. So there's my card for number 14. We're on to the final card, card 15. Here's my practice version where I also use the iridescent foil. And we just have lots of tiny pieces for this one. So on the directions, you start out by adding these little pieces to the card base. Let's see. Yep, these go on the end. I'm gonna put that one in the middle. I don't know. I mean, I no longer know which ones are the actual ones. I could look it up, but it's on my phone and I'm recording with that. So we're just putting it how I feel like it. Okay, I'm gonna use liquid glue to attach it to this piece of Very Vanilla, and then we're gonna trim that. Okay, I cannot tell up from down on that. Although, ooh, we're using that gray. I wonder, gray might work better. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the gray. We're gonna use the back side of that. I just use my bone folder to flatten out any of the cut edges, since I cut on the other side. Okay, now this one. pattern. And I am positive I am not going to make it to the other end. Let's see. I can't tell what up and down is on that one either. So there we go. Now we're going to have to do some trimming, which will make these pieces change. Won't matter with the others. Okay, I'm going to start. This is a little too skinny for my, or too small for my guillotine, so I'm gonna try and use my trimmer for it. So there's that. And then, I mean, I only want to trim off a little bit. That's pretty good. I got a fairly new blade in here, that helps. And then, oh, pretty good guess. Good enough. Okay, now we have to cut this diagonal. And there are multiple ways to do this. You can use your trimmer, which I'm probably gonna do once I clean up that edge. Yeah, I can't handle that. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna take 1/8 off of this. 2 1/2. So, oh, what, that's more than 2 1/2. Okay, 2 3/8 then. Let's try that. That's pretty good. I'll end up trimming stuff. And so then I'm gonna take 1/8 off of this, which was 2 3/4. So that's 2 5/8. I'm always trimming as we go. Okay, let's get this flattened out and I think I want that to be the long strip. So that's gonna go like here. Let's try lining it up, get the corners in the groove, and then pick your blade up, place it down in, and then go out. Because if you cut from a corner, if you cut straight into a corner, you're more likely to bend it. So there we go. I did it the opposite way. So I think I want this one up here. So mine's gonna be backwards, but it's still gonna work. I went from the wrong corner to the wrong corner. That's okay. Does not matter. Now I'm going to line it up with the corner down here. And then if there's any extra, I'll trim it off the flat side. And I'm actually going to do the same up here because they're far enough away you won't be able to tell. But the point matters more on it being on the corner. So I'm gonna let that dry, so I don't need that. I'm gonna put these together. So I got a piece of Mossy Meadow again for the background, and I'm going to stick these all on here. That'll end up being okay. Okay, I'm gonna start with this one. I'm gonna use liquid glue again because it's easier to move things around. Try and get consistent edges. I think that's pretty good. Before I rub it down, try not to rub it down too much yet so I can hopefully move it if I need to. Add the skinny strip, butted right up against it. And then I cut this one out of the extra paper because I could not figure out what I wanted. And I didn't want just plain cardstock, and I don't know, I didn't feel like embossing. So I thought this worked. It's a different piece, but it's got the same feel. There we go. And that will go all on the same problem. Basic gray base. Gonna have to glue that down. Okay, I'll put this on a basic gray base. I chose that because the back side of this piece of paper is basic gray, and I'm like, oh, that's really pretty. Okay, this should be done. Now I'm going to try using my scissors. I may need the guillotine. Okay, I think the guillotine might work better. You can use scissors too. I trust my guillotine better more than I trust me with scissors. I'm getting it straight. There we go. Now that's gonna go on there, but first I'm gonna stamp the happy birthday. And actually, I might use basic gray for this. I was gonna use old olive, but let's pull out the basic gray. Because we're going straight onto the card base again, or the card. It's hard to get this straight when it's angled like that. Okay, there we go. You know what might look really nice? Some extra lines in there. Maybe a couple of strips of basic gray. What do you think? So I think I'm gonna go with that. It'll at least step it down. Okay, we need the thinner glue. Just run a little line of glue and add our 1/8 inch strip there. And then the next one. If I can pick it up. There we go. And then these I can trim. They're not so thick as the pattern paper on the cardstock. I like that. Okay. Now we'll get that on the mat for it. Oops. Good thing I used liquid glue because I moved it. Although if I'd not used liquid glue, I wouldn't have been able to move it. Okay. And then I'm going to do dimensionals. There we go. And I just need to center it on here. I like how the strip of the basic gray pulls out the stripe over here too. And a few gems. I think I'm gonna put them on here. And one up here. Card 15. And I can pull them all out. Put 15 in the back with them. So here are the cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was the first video. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 was the second video. Then we have 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 for this video. Thanks for joining me.